All right. We are in this thing. Oh, okay. Screen readjusted. Let's see. Message to the team. We're in here. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, y'all. Thank you for jumping on. Go ahead and put on the do not disturb so that the only messages I'm getting ideally are from my team, from my people. So, happy St. Patrick's Day if that is something that you are celebrating. Um, Today, I call it my favorite holiday because it's the one day that I get to see a bunch of people wearing my favorite color and sharing hopefully some love, some kindness, some gentleness. That's my hopes and thoughts for y'all. So, with that, today's today's title for the Greater Self Wise podcast is Green and Grief. And the reason why is because obviously it is St. Patrick's Day, this particular day. The color green has a lot of different associations with it. Some people may look at it as just the color. We're looking at green and grief in the sense that it's the color of love. It also can be identified as the color for jealousy when people say, like, you're green with envy or jealousy, and also of a healing heart. So, everywhere, I hope you guys got to see some green today. Like I said, it makes me super happy when I get to see the green, but hey, I'm a special kind of person, and that's why we're all here today for that reason. Um, so everywhere, I got to see a bunch of green. Went to a pretty dope event today with some of my people from one of my like for like communities, and you'll probably see some stuff on that on the stories. Even if you come back to this later, you'll definitely see something around and about that. Oh my gosh, I did not get any green drinks today, so I guess I gotta step my game up on that. Definitely got the green clothes. Green decoration is always there. Four-leaf clovers and shamrocks, all the things all around. And for most people, green tends to represent luck, money. But when I see green, I look at it as something much deeper. It's not only just a color in life and a color that genuinely, like I said, it lights me up. It makes me happy when I see green plants. There's something about seeing that greenery that it feels a particular kind of way. Um, Green also is a signal for growth. When you're looking at a spreadsheet and you're looking at where your money's at, you want to see it in the black and or in the green, ideally, never the red per se. But this color is also associated with some things that can maybe not be so great, such as jealousy. Even though these things seem to be a contradiction, I find it a little fascinating. And today's a great day to go ahead in all green with all the things and still a little bit of pink for that heart chakra to explore it a little deeper. Because the same place in our bodies and in our hearts that holds love is also the same place that we notice and experience heartbreak, the heart. So, right up in this little area over here. Um, and a lot of different healing traditions, green is associated with the heart chakra. So, the heart center, green and pink tend to be associated with this particular chakra and this area to address and identify the the representation of a physical energy field that you can't touch but you can feel. We have organs that definitely align with most of the things that we look at for different energetic fields. So looking at the heart chakra today, and I chose to make today about the heart, which is why I love seeing green so much. Um, it's where we give and also receive love. So this lovely place where our body gets to connect to love, compassion, connection, even emotional openness is, like I said, today a day where you get to see a whole bunch of it all over the place and let it be great. Even though the color green has lots of associations, and if you're a partaker of any hemp type products, I'm sure this definitely means a whole lot more for you too. I'm here for it, I support it. But sometimes we may look at it as jealousy and notice that some people tend to, when you're looking at someone else's life or something that another person is experiencing, you may find yourself in a place or position where you find that An outsider might describe your experience of that person's experience as being jealous of them, of noticing if there's something that they have access to that maybe you don't. Jealousy, in my personal opinion, this is how I'm choosing to frame it moving forward. Feel free to take whatever way you want to go about it, is to look at it as, if you were to identify grief instead of jealousy, imagine that jealousy is just a mask that grief gets to wear. So if there's something that appears to be threatening to something we value or care about, you may be jealous of someone that seems to be having an experience of it that maybe you like to be having but aren't. Sometimes you may assume that a person is jealous of a relationship, jealous of the attention that another is getting, or maybe even jealous that it looks like they have a dream that they've been able to build and like grow with. And meanwhile, you were hoping for that same dream, that same experience. And for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to have happened. And when this happens, this kind of changes in your heart. So instead of it being about what you do or don't have, you're noticing the lack thereof. So there was an opportunity that maybe you could have had the relationship, you could have had the job, you could have had the whatever it is that you're exploring. And hold on one quick second, because I know people are being a little bit louder than I anticipated upstairs. Uh, Hopefully you guys can hear it. So back to what I was saying. Sometimes you tend to notice that other people have what it seems like you want. You have no idea what's happening on the inside of that connection, that relationship, that job. You don't know what that person had to do to get there, but you experience them having it as a loss that you didn't get to experience. You didn't get to have what you were looking for. You are still seeking to have this experience and making the assumption that because this person appears to have it, now there's something missing in your heart. And because we're all human, it makes it a little bit harder to pretend that we don't notice it, especially if it's something that you've said that you wanted to experience. And it doesn't make you weak. It doesn't mean you're immature because someone has an experience or aspects of a life that you'd like to create for yourself, but it hasn't manifested yet. And at the same time, we can start to feel ashamed of the fact that this is something we want, we've been working for, and yet we still didn't get access to it. We're taught that jealousy is supposed to be something that's ugly, that it's petty, that it's actually you being insecure and incapable of being happy for other people. If you view jealousy as a mask of grief, does that switch the way that you look at it? Does that now open up the possibilities that instead of you being whatever it is they said you're being, you're actually just having a human experience of, wow, that looks like something I'd really like to be a part of. And I feel like that's an area that may be missing that I can totally look into investing in. It tells us more about the things that matter to us, the things that we value, the things that we maybe didn't even know that we were looking for until we see or observe it somewhere else. Sometimes it's telling us that we're grieving something we hoped would exist. Jealousy can show up when we watch someone give energy to someone else. So it's like, I don't want to say, when you're in the club and you notice that one girl that everybody tries to talk to, or maybe you are that one girl that everybody tries to talk to. Sometimes other people might seem like they're hating a little bit and they're a little bit jealous because you seem to exude this level of energy that people are drawn to. And while you may not be doing anything in particular, that person could be having an experience of grief where either they've never experienced that before, for whatever the reasons are, or that used to be them and now it's not. And to see someone else as the new it girl can be a little painful until you come into a better understanding of who you are now, what it is you're actually aspiring to, and do you even want that kind of attention or that experience, anyways? Which is why I say looking at someone else's life, their experiences, and assuming that they have something that you can't have access to, and they have it in a way that you like but don't currently have, sets you up to really start to kind of hurt your own heart. It's like instead of enjoying what you do have access to, instead of finding that love or the value in the things that you've already invested in and the experiences you've already had, you're now looking at someone else's and assuming that their experience and what they've got going is better than what you have the capacity for, and preventing you, them being happy is preventing you from being happy when there's literally enough joy, happiness, and all the things to go around for everyone. But when you're not focused on yourself and minding your own business, it's like I like to say, if you mind your own business, you'd be able to tend to it better and you wouldn't miss those opportunities for the joy, happiness, and things that you're seeking in the first place. But when you're minding other people's business, it can show up and it can look like you're being jealous when really you're just grieving the fact that had you focused maybe more attention or time somewhere else, you may be having a similar experience, but hopefully even better than what you could have imagined. So if we're not careful, we can allow jealousy to rob us of any joy that we have. The grief of not having already arrived there or gotten there, wherever the there is, prevents you from being able to enjoy what you've already accomplished and experienced. It can make us spend time watching other people's lives instead of living in our own. And I know we're on social media, and clearly this is where people come to share their different lives. But if your primary focus is on looking at what other people are doing and what other people have going on, and then you're coming back to yourself and you're like now kind of poo pooing on yourself because it looks like other people are having the life and experiences you want, and yet you're not taking any time to invest in you, that makes it a little bit harder to get where you're trying to get to. It makes it a lot easier to actually start to experience jealousy beyond grief. So initially, it may be grief, you just wanting something that you haven't experienced or desiring for something that hasn't come. And when you don't get it, you see other people that have it. And now you're like, oh, well, that means I must need to, I don't know, try harder, do something more. Or that person took my happiness. They didn't. Even if that person is literally with the person you wanted to be with, there's a reason that you're not with them. And there's something else that you're never going to have to experience because that didn't happen. When we allow our hearts to start to get into a space of receiving and releasing, it gets easier to appreciate what you were able to accept and enjoy in an experience with the person, with the job, with the whatever you're currently looking at and filtering your jealousy through, and be grateful for what you did have and what you got saved from. That's how I like to look at it. If you received it, it felt good, and then it left, release the parts that weren't supposed to stick around, anyways. Let your heart still be open in a space where you aren't walking around with a broken heart for the rest of your life. Allow the heart to grow, allow it to keep going, to keep blooming, just like all the green things that when we water it, it grows, it becomes bigger, it looks nicer, it does all the things it was meant to do. All the trees outside, they don't stop growing or like blooming flowers or other things like that because another tree is. They look and it's kind of like, cool, you're dope, I'm dope. We're all out here doing our thing and providing oxygen to these humans that are out here hating on themselves and then other people, and allowing grief to transition into jealousy instead of rewinding it back and looking at grief as as a part of love. You you can't grieve something unless you maybe cared about it in the first place. Things that you value are the things that do pop up and you notice when it's not there, but probably also struggle to notice when you have it, had access to it, and it worked for you. If you never love anything, how could you ever grieve anything? If you would allow the experience of grief to run through you, you say run through you, run you over, however you want to look at it, instead of allowing your heart to be hardened, this is an opportunity where you have the greatest opportunity for growth in compassion and empathy, sympathy, all the things that allow you to connect with other people. When you give yourself the space and permission to really look at, if I want my heart to be as pure, as clean as it can be, and everybody's not trying to do that. So I know there's some people that's already shut this off and was like, I don't care about loving nobody. I don't care about my heart chakra. I don't care about being great for anybody else. I just want to get what I can get and keep it moving. This podcast wasn't for you, anyways. So, with that being said, if you are a person who does have a desire to grow, to become a better version of you, to be caring and loving to other people, then you wouldn't allow your heart to be hardened by experiences that part of it came from you creating a story around what it would mean to be lucky, happy, or whatever it is you were seeking instead of looking at that can be a possibility, but I could also have a greater experience should I allow myself to. So when you're looking at this day, hopefully in the future, you'll take it as an opportunity to really enjoy and embrace green as a sign of growth, as a sign of love, as a sign of happiness, as a sign of continuing evolution, instead of maybe getting stuck on that mask of jealousy or and grief. And allowing the grief to do its thing, it's there to remind you, like what you did care about. And I'd ask you or challenge you to look at, if you are in a position where you are grieving something, what are you grieving? What dream did you lose? And what love did you hope would be yours? And for whatever reason, it hasn't happened, or maybe it's ended. Is there something else that you can do or that your heart is in need of so that you can move forward? Where in your life have you noticed that jealousy may have shown up, especially recently? And instead of judging yourself for feeling it, ask yourself again, what am I grieving? What dream did I lose? What was I hoping for? What was I wanting to be different? And have I grown into the person that can actually hold space for that? Have I evolved as who I am into a place where I can actually appreciate, enjoy, and show up to be that version of myself? That version of myself that would allow me to receive the love, receive the care, receive all the things that I was looking for. And then every time I see the color green, not only does it maybe make you think of a little bit of money, but now you can see it as a space where, yeah, my heart is full. I feel good. I feel good sharing it. I don't have any problem with, experiencing love and choosing to receive it and release it as it does and doesn't work for me. So if you were choosing to explore. So now what do I do with this information? I can tell you there's a benefit to moving your body around to release some of that grief and to allow a little more of the love to come on in. And it wouldn't make sense if I didn't invite you to come and do yoga with me so that you can move your body, move those hips, open your heart, like this whole area, just open it up, get those hips moving. And I would say open those hips up, or you could say bust it open, however it moves you. But allowing yourself to really do things that move energy around in your body so you don't get stuck and feel stagnant, like you can't do anything different and you can't have different experiences. And the green that you're experiencing is only envy or jealousy instead of love, happiness, more money, more fire, like whatever way you want to look at it, but it's totally going to be up to you to do something different. So whether you're moving your body with me to move some energy around, like I said, open the heart, open the hips, get those things going, or you're like, I need somebody to say some words that make some sense so I can do some things, then I guess I'll be seeing you still on the same day. We can do yoga. We can talk about how to be a feminine CEO and how to actually make small changes, 5 minutes in a day, daily, that will allow you to get to a place where brain can be more symbolic of your heart being wide open instead of a place where you have experienced loss. Well, I think that's about all I've got to share for today. And I don't know if I have or have not missed any messages in any particular places. I'll check and see. And if I did, then I apologize that I missed your comments, and I appreciate them, and I'll definitely make sure to answer them later on. Oh no. No one could hear this whole time. That's crazy. So I guess that means only the folks on mm, 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 mm. Only the folks on TikTok were able to maybe hear it. Which means I spoke this whole time and you guys just watched silence. It happens. I'm not going to grieve the fact that you all didn't hear me. I'm just going to roll with, well, it happened, and I guess you'll be getting a video from a different platform. Well, thank y'all for the people that were willing to watch my lips move but couldn't hear a thing. And for those that were able to hear me over on the other platforms, I appreciate y'all. I guess we'll have to do this again some other time. Who knows? Maybe I'll consider re recording it or not. Either way, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Drink something green, it's probably going to be good for you. Hug somebody, tell them you love them, and get comfortable with the grief came to remind you of what you cared about so that you can love bigger and harder on purpose.